Kajol, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure, entirely.
And very cliched, but as this is a mummy show, I'm going to get straight to the mummy points. What is motherhood to you and how has it changed you?
I think I'm one of those few people probably in this generation who's always wanted to be a mother. I was 8 years old when I told my mom first that I wanted to be a mother and I wanted to adopt a child. And she said, why don't you wait for another 2 years till you're 12? Maybe at 12 you can. Then at 12 she told me, no baby, I think you'll have to wait till you're 18 at least. And then at 18 I only told her, like, forget it, I'm not having a baby till I'm ready for it. But I think when I finally had my daughter, it was just overwhelming. It was amazing. I turned into a paranoid, overprotective, ferocious mother, and I probably alienated a lot of people, nearly divorced my husband because I think he was ready to beat me over the head, club me over the head at times only to make me a little more sane and normal. I was very
like sanitizer 10 times
hand
a day.
sanitizer, wash your hands and don't enter the house only without a bath. So I was one of those people, and I was like, no, you can't do this because she's sleeping, and no, you can't do this because it's eating time, and no, you can't do this.
But did you do the same for yoga?
No,
because
I didn't.
The second one usually,
I didn't. I was much calmer. I was much cooler. I was much more. I was like, I think second time around, you know what's going to happen.
Veteran mom.
It's not a big shock every time, and oh my God, do I have to run to the doctor? So I think it's much easier the second time around.
We have an internal joke. Rupak, my husband, he always says when Zen, our elder son, was born, the bottle of sanitizer, in day one it was done. With Kai, our younger one, that bottle
lasted you
honestly,
6 months.
It's still there.
1 year.
He's 3 now. The bottle is still there. So not that we love any less, it's as much, but you're just more like, relaxed. So yeah. What were you like as a kid?
I was a brat. I was a violent kid, and I was not very easily controlled. Let me put it that way. So as a grown-up, I haven't changed that much. But to be honest, what I liked about myself as a child was that I had a great time.
Yeah.
I remember my childhood and I absolutely had a blast. From my mum taking us to Lonavala, and I used to live with my cousins. So there were like us 6 girls and my mum, and she used to handle us 6 of us like Hitler.
Wow.
She was superb. Nobody could put one step out of line with her.
Really?
She was brilliant.
Do you think that you have imbibed a bit of her parenting?
Definitely.
Like, do you do the same?
Definitely.
Are you like a Hitler? Huh?
I would like to call myself a benevolent dictator.
Okay. So dictator's there in the sentence.
Dictator more of the time rather than benevolent, but yeah, a little bit of benevolent just to make me look good.
So you're the tough cop at home. Ajay is like the milder one.
I have to be the tough cop and I have to be the lenient cop also because Ajay is very rarely at home the whole day. So I'm kind of playing both roles, good cop, bad cop, both.
Do you think that they are just closer to one of you, perhaps because of time, or do you think for certain things they turn to you and for certain things they go to their dad?
I think that's always going to be a situation. Like my children, for instance, whatever they need, it's always me. But that doesn't mean that Ajay plays any less of a role in it. Yeah. For sure. I mean, he is definitely there, and there are lots of times when, he's sitting as a mediator because me and my daughter have these catastrophic, cataclysmic fights.
Really? Like what? Describe one.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Who usually wins? Tell me that.
Nobody wins in this. The only winner in this, Ajay will stand like a dictator in between us. He'll stand like a mediator, referee, and he'll be blowing his whistle left, right and center. Stop it, both of you. Yeah, that's him.
You actually consciously decided to be with your kids and spend that time with them and not actually work. And personally, I find it very difficult to leave my kids. I've never left them yet. Not that it's a good thing. I believe each to their own. You have to do what works for you. Yeah. But how do you manage that? Are you able to? I
haven't left them yet as well.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I find it very difficult.
And
I work around
11,
it.
right?
Nissa is 11 and I work around it. Yeah. I truly work around it. I think that, I take them everywhere. I take them everywhere with me, wherever I have to go. I plan my work as to their holidays. There are times that I cannot be at home and I cannot adjust, and that is also okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Is it okay for you? Because what I find is that the kids are okay, but it's
I miss them like mad. I don't sleep well. I have issues. I'm very paranoid. I'm very like, acha kaam jaldi khatam karo. If I can take an earlier flight, I want to take an earlier flight and get home. So I'm definitely like that. But I think I've calmed down a little bit now also. So I'm good.
Yeah. And I think
I'm in a nice space.
As they grow, and you've got infrastructure, help that you can.
Most important. I don't think that I would have been able to take this decision unless I had my mother-in-law behind me. Like like 120%, and my mother and my sister. All three of them for that matter. They really like stood behind me like pillars, literally.
Do you have any views on the whole working mom, stay home mom thing? Like, you've managed to balance it well.
But I have managed to balance it well because I made a conscious decision and I made a conscious choice.
Yeah.
I did. I believe, this is my personal belief, of course. I have no judgment as to each to his own, really, as you said.
Yeah.
I mean, as for me, I believed that I had kids. It was a conscious decision, and therefore, I took that conscious decision as well to take care of them.
Yeah.
I wanted to spend time with them. I believed that it was my choice to bring them into this world, and therefore it was my responsibility to take care of them and make sure that they were brought up right, the way I was. As far as work is concerned, I think there's this huge guilt attached to it, to work as such when you're a mom, which you cannot get rid of, which you have to just cope with day by day.
As a celebrity, is there something different in the way you bring them up? Are you more conscious of grounding them?
I am mostly like any other mom would be. But yes, as a celebrity, you do have to put that into your kids from a younger age. And you have to make them understand certain things like security, for instance.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that my daughter, once I was traveling to Jaipur, and it just so happened that I think the photographers got wind of the fact that we were coming to Jaipur at that point of time, and they just thronged the airport. So there was something like 50, 60 people standing over there, and she was 4 years old. And she was petrified. She got they were like all over, and it was just one of those days when we hadn't traveled with security. And she was frightened. I just told her, Nissa, just stand behind me, just hold my hand and just walk. Put your head down and just walk behind me, baby. Don't worry. Nobody is going to touch you also over here, nothing. So I just took her behind me like this, and I just walked ahead, and we got into the car or whatever, but she was shaking by the time it was over. I felt like we had failed as parents by exposing her to this. So I've given her, I always travel with security. I make it a point that wherever I'm going, she knows these are the rules to follow. You will not do this, you will not do that. There are 20 things you have to be in my line of sight.
So they're very
you have to stand next to me.
Like, they're very aware that they
and
that
I
their
think
parents
that
are famous.
And I think that is necessary as our children.
Yeah. So Kajol, one tip for all the mummies out there who, of course, worship you and think you're a super mummy, which you are. So anything.
Well, I'm a super mom, and so are you, and so is every mother out there. I think that the one tip that I would say for all the people who are not mothers is that every mother is a superhero. We do and perform miracles every day that we do not talk about, that if anybody else had to do, they would have, wanted to put up a hoarding of themselves with. So I think that we're fabulous, we're amazing just by the fact that we've created a miracle, that we are able to create a miracle, and the fact that we take care of them day in and day out and love them with all of our hearts and center our lives around them. I think that in itself makes us superheroes.
So Kajol, thank you so much. Really a pleasure having you on.
Not at all. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.